Welcome to our channel, World Capitals. Today, we're traveling to the heart of South America. Our journey will take us high into the Andes Mountains, a place that has shaped civilizations for thousands of years. We'll dive into the central region of South America to explore four amazing yet very different capital cities: Brasilia, La Paz, Lima, and Quito. These are cities where ancient history whispers from colonial streets, and the past isn't just an old story, but a living part of today. Here, culture and traditions are lived every day in the rhythm of the markets and the spirit of the people. Along the way, we'll see many different landscapes, from the futuristic plains of the Brazilian highlands to the towering peaks of ancient cities. They are four different worlds, and each capital has its own customs and cultures. By diving into the life of each capital, we'll better understand its art, its buildings, and its traditions. We'll feel the pulse of each city by exploring its busy streets and its quiet places. Every capital has its own special features and its unique story. In this region, geography, like how high up it is and how close it is to the sea, shapes the landscapes and the identity of each city, influencing how people live there. This view shows us patterns, from the planned layout of a city like Brasilia to the natural growth of a very old one like La Paz. Let's look at these capitals by seeing beyond the usual, searching for the soul of each one. We'll find the true beat of city life in the big squares and the centers of community and social life, and in the quiet places where days pass at a slow pace. We'll see the planning of an amazing modern capital, born from a bold dream in the middle of the last century, and the natural growth of a city nestled in a valley, which has grown over many years. Each capital is a testament to the toughness, creativity, and lasting human spirit that builds, rebuilds, and thrives against all odds. And while they are all different from each other, they are all connected by shared stories of conquest and freedom, of old empires and modern revolutions with their own cultural trends. So, let's start our journey to the heart of these four South American capitals. Our first stop isn't a city that grew naturally over centuries. Instead, it's a city that was dreamed up and planned to exist. We're talking about modern Brasilia, a testament to human ambition, boldly created in the middle of the Brazilian savannah. For many years, Brazil's capital was Rio de Janeiro. It was beautiful, but very crowded. Leaders wanted the nation's heart to be closer to its geographic center, so they imagined creating a new capital in a chosen spot. They wanted to push development inland, further away from the coast. This wasn't just about moving government offices. It was about creating a symbol, a modern and forward-looking Brazil, a nation ready to take its place on the world stage. The idea promised progress with a new beginning, and the dream came true in the late 1950s under President Juscelino Kubitschek. His motto, 50 years of progress in 5, and Brasilia was the centerpiece. The president launched a national competition to draw up a master plan, and the winning design was by Lucio Costa. His concept was simple but revolutionary. He designed the city in the shape of a bird or an airplane, with one area for the government, another area for business, and another for homes. It was a vision of order and efficiency, a stark contrast to the organic and chaotic growth of old cities that expand naturally. The challenge was immense, a metropolis built from scratch in 41 months. Building Brasilia was truly a huge task. Thousands of workers, the candangos, came here from all over Brazil, especially from the northeast. They lived in makeshift camps, enduring tough conditions on the red earth of the hills. The hard work of the candangos was the foundation upon which the city's modern buildings and monuments stand today. The architects received praise for their bold project, but the candangos were the ones who put in the human effort that allowed Brasilia to be created in record time. They were the pioneers who, with their sweat and effort, pushed forward the work that turned the ideas on the architectural plans into reality to build the new capital. Finally, in 1960, Brasilia was opened as the capital, and the government moved there from Rio de Janeiro. We can say that Brasilia was born, not shaped by the past, but built for the future, drawn on blank canvases and free from colonial restrictions, which allowed for that radical and futuristic experiment in the urban life of the Brazilian capital. Our journey now takes a dramatic, upward turn. We're climbing towards the towering Andes Mountains, with their rocky, icy peaks that define so many landscapes in South America. Leaving behind the planned modernity of Brasilia, we trade its wide-open horizons for a landscape of breathtaking verticality. We've arrived in La Paz, the capital of Bolivia. This is a city that will, quite literally, take your breath away, and not just because of the beautiful views. The air feels thin, a constant reminder that we're at a very high altitude. Nestled in a deep, protective canyon and surrounded by the imposing peaks of the Altiplano, La Paz is the highest capital city in the world. It's a metropolis built, against all odds, more than 12,000 feet above sea level. Its full name is Nuestra Señora de la Paz, which means Our Lady of Peace. This name was given by the Spanish in the 16th century to remember a peace treaty signed between rival groups of conquistadors fighting for control of the land. But the history of this valley goes back much further, to the ancient Aymara kingdoms that thrived here for centuries, mastering this high-altitude environment long before any Europeans arrived. La Paz's geography is its most important and obvious feature. The city spreads out along the sides of a huge bowl-shaped canyon. There's an amazing difference in height of almost 3,000 feet from the city's highest points to its lowest. At the top, sitting on the harsh, windy plains of the Altiplano, is the sprawling city of El Alto. It used to be a suburb, and now it's a major city hub for La Paz. As you go down into the canyon, you'll find the busy city center, a messy but lively mix of old colonial buildings, modern skyscrapers, and crowded markets. Further down in the valley, in the warmer, more oxygen-rich areas, are the residential neighborhoods where wealthy people live. This vertical layout creates a striking difference in weather and social classes within the same city. Where you live determines the air you breathe and the temperature you feel. Before the Spanish arrived, this area was a very important part of the Inca Empire, and even before that, it was the heart of the powerful Tiwanaku civilization. The valley offered a vital shelter from the harsh winds of the Altiplano and served as an important stop on trade routes connecting the highlands with the fertile lowlands. When the Spanish founded the city in 1548, they were drawn by the promise of gold found in the nearby Choqueyapu River. They set up their colonial center in the lowest, most protected part of the valley, pushing the native Aymara and Quechua people to the steeper, less desirable hillsides above. This historical division is still clearly visible in the city's layout and social structure, a lasting and powerful reminder of the colonial power system. La Paz's food is influenced by its high altitude. Here, you'll find hearty dishes that warm you on cold nights, made using old cooking methods. In the markets, you can find salteñas dripping with sweet and sour broth, anticucho skewers brushed with chili, and steaming bowls of peanut soup. Llama and trout share menus alongside quinoa and freeze-dried potatoes, perfected by Andean knowledge. Street carts serve purple API, a spiced purple corn drink, while bakers fold tucumana empanadas and vendors sprinkle huacataya herb on food. Eat slowly, because here the flavors are concentrated at high altitudes, and every bite carries Aymara memory. Modern La Paz is a city of incredible contrasts and a strong political energy. It's the unofficial seat of Bolivia's government, a center for trade, and the undeniable heart of the country's powerful social movements. The thin air of the heights blows with constant intensity. From the Grand Plaza Murillo, where the presidential palace stands as a symbol of power, to the steep, winding streets filled with vendors and minibuses, the city feels alive and in constant, chaotic motion. Exploring La Paz is an adventure in itself, a physical and cultural dive into a place where pre-Columbian roots, colonial history, and a turbulent, resilient modern identity clash in a spectacular high-altitude setting. From the heights of La Paz, we now go down to the coast, leaving the dry Altiplano behind, and head to a capital city bordered by the sea. We've arrived in Lima, the capital of Peru. This is a city with a completely different energy, shaped not by mountains, but by the vast Pacific Ocean. A constant coastal fog, known as the garua, often covers the city, especially in winter, giving it a mysterious vibe that softens the desert sun. Lima was once the biggest and most important city in Spanish South America. Founded by Francisco Pizarro in 1535, it was nicknamed the City of Kings, a name that showed its huge importance. For 3 centuries, it was the center of the viceroyalty of Peru, the heart of colonial power, wealth, and culture for the whole South American continent. This rich past can still be seen in Lima's historic center. The Grand Plaza Mayor, right in the middle of the city, is a clear reminder of that golden age. Here you'll also find the government palace, the Archbishop's Palace, with its fancy wooden balconies, and the big Lima Cathedral, which holds Pizarro's tomb. Stepping into this plaza is like going back in time. You can almost hear the echoes of colonial aristocrats and powerful viceroys who once ruled half a continent from these very buildings. But beyond the grand plazas, the city's geography tells another story. Lima is a huge desert city, one of the biggest in the world. It stretches along coastal cliffs that look out over the powerful Pacific waves. Neighborhoods like Miraflores and Barranco sit on these cliffs, offering amazing ocean views and a modern, lively atmosphere. This closeness to the sea shapes Lima's character, affecting its weather and its economy. It has also sparked a true food revolution. Lima lives and breathes food. The cold Humboldt Current fills the markets with anchovies and corvina, supplying the cevicherias where lime, ají limo, and tiger's milk spice up the dishes. Centuries of migration created Lima's unique blends, Niki and Chifa, where Japanese precision and Chinese cooking came together with traditional Peruvian food. However, Lima is a city of strong contrasts. The fancy colonial and modern districts are very different from the huge new towns that grow on the dusty hills around the city. These informal settlements are home to millions of migrants who have come from the Andes and the Amazon looking for a better life. They bring with them their own cultures, traditions, and resilience, creating a lively and complex city fabric that is the modern face of Lima. Now we leave the coast and climb once more into the heart of the Andes. Continuing our journey, we reach our final stop, Quito, the capital of Ecuador. If Lima was the seat of Spanish power, Quito is its colonial jewel box, a city with a mountain soul and breathtaking beauty. The city is nestled in a long, narrow valley, at an altitude of 2,850 meters, making it the second highest capital in the world. It's surrounded by volcanoes, part of the amazing avenue of the volcanoes that runs through the country. Quito's greatest treasure is its historic center. It's one of the biggest, best preserved, and least changed in all of the Americas. In 1978, it was one of the first places to be named a UNESCO World Heritage Site, recognized for its amazing global value. Walking its narrow cobblestone streets is like stepping into a living museum. You're surrounded by stunning colonial architecture, whitewashed houses with red tile roofs, charming inner courtyards, and more than 40 churches and chapels, each with its own story. This living history extends to Quito's food. Here you can try a locro de papa, a creamy potato soup with fresh cheese, or baked potato pancakes called lapingachos filled with cheese and peanut sauce. And on special days, a colada morada, a spiced blackberry and purple corn drink, with a baked sweet bread. And don't leave without trying some good chocolate. Before the Spanish arrived, Quito was an important center for the Inca Empire. Then they built their colonial capital right on top of the Inca foundations. This layering of history is still clear today, where you can see Inca stonework forming the base of colonial walls. But the city's churches are its most impressive feature, a mix of European design and native art. The most amazing example is the Church of La Compañía de Jesús. Its inside is almost completely covered in gold leaf, earning it the nickname the Golden Church. They say 7 tons of gold were used to decorate this masterpiece of the Quito Baroque school. Every surface, from the tall columns to the fancy ceiling, shines and sparkles with an almost heavenly light. It's an overwhelming display of faith and art, meant to inspire wonder and devotion, and it represents the absolute peak of Quito's colonial-era splendor. Quito is a city with beauties you won't forget. Our trip through these 4 South American capitals is coming to an end. We've traveled from the futuristic plains of Brasilia to the towering canyon of La Paz, and from the misty heights of Lima to the volcanoes of Quito. Each city showed us a very unique side, but we've also found many things that connect them as South American nations. The most important thing they have in common is the history they share from colonial times, the Spanish conquest that is written in the stones of their historic centers. Another strong connection is how incredibly tough South American indigenous cultures have been. Even though for many centuries people tried to erase them, their spirit is still alive. But even in their differences, these cities are very different. We see this in Brasilia, a city that was carefully planned, and the other three old capitals, which grew naturally. Living on the coasts or in the mountains has also left its mark on the cities and their people. They show us that a capital can be a living testament to its past, and an example of strength building its future. That gives us a very valuable lesson. We've reached the end of our journey. Thanks for joining me on this trip through the Southern Cone. If you liked this video, please give it a like and subscribe to World Capitals to support our educational effort. See you soon.